Hello there, what's up, you smut sluts?
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Kelly.
And this is Smutswap. Before we begin, as always, current reads.
You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I am not reading anything.
Wow.
Because I finished my book last night and I haven't started another one.
Oh, I saw you updated on Fable.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called.
It was called The Favorites, and it is about ice dancers.
Oh.
It was so fucking toxic. I filmed a TikTok before I came up here too, and I'll be posting it so you can watch my review.
Okay.
Okay.
I will.
And so what I'm going to be starting today is Say You'll Remember Me by my girl, Abby Jimenez.
Aw, I think I've heard of this one.
Yeah, it's her newest release.
Okay, then I've seen it.
It's in my bag over there.
Oh, yeah, because I always want to sing the songs.
Yeah.
Remember me.
Me too. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about it. People either hate it or they love it. And I'm scared because I did not like the first series that she wrote called the Friend Zone series. One of the main female characters is very like, pick me, you know? And she kind of handled infertility in a very poor way in that book. So, yeah. But then I love the Part of Your World series, so I'm very excited about this.
Oh.
Do you have to look? Oh, I saw.
I just needed to look up the author for the one on Libby.
Did you get caught up?
I got caught up on Audible.
Oh, you bought it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I also bought it.
I had 2 credits, and they've just been stacking up because I've been really into Libby lately.
Me too. Libby rules my life. I read
know.
what Libby tells me to read.
Yeah, and I went through my Fable TBR, and I added everything to
Smart.
my hold list, and then everything started coming available. So I have 3 selected right now. I started We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix.
Ooh, I like him sometimes. Today. Yeah, I like him sometimes.
So that one I'm just a few chapters in, and then I started Caught Up Day on my way to work.
Well, I currently have Caught Up waiting for me in my mailbox because I ordered it from bookshop.org. I pre-ordered it on bookshop.org, and it's there waiting for me. And you'll probably see a TikTok about that later too.
Yeah, I'm like 4 chapters in.
Nice. Are you swooning over Teddy or?
I love Teddy's voice. I hate the backlash.
Me too.
Over that.
Fuck you all for bullying Nivessa off the internet, you assholes. God damn, dude.
Exactly. And I like the female voice better in this one than I did in Lights Out. Like, she just seems more natural.
Okay, I don't remember who did the...
I don't either.
Yeah, sorry.
I like this girl's voice better.
Sorry about it.
Don't know her name either.
I'll probably start Caught Up this weekend.
Okay.
I'm taking Juan to the great place that we went to for Father's Day.
I love that.
And then we're going to go to this place called, it's like Happy Dough Lucky. It's a donut shop in Milwaukee. Oh. And it has an arcade in there too.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be super fun.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, my kids and I are going to take Papa.
Oh.
Yeah.
We have softball, so.
Oh.
Who knows what our schedule will look like on Sunday.
Yeah, story of her life.
Yeah. But I have finished 2 books already this month.
Yay!
Yeah. I read The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. I gave her another shot.
And?
It was better than The Housemaid.
All right, so that's the verdict, ladies and Tony.
Yep.
Wow, I don't know if I want to give her another shot.
I mean, I was annoyed, but this one wasn't as annoying. It's still written in a way where I feel like the characters are so desperate that they lack common sense. And it's like, you could have easily solved this by picking up the phone and calling the police or being honest with this person or honest with that person. But the twist in this one, I didn't see coming. And I really enjoyed it.
Good, okay.
And I was like, holy shit, it blew my tits off.
Okay, it blew her tits off. I tried to read a thriller and hated it. It was so fucking boring. The one that I'm going to give to you that I forgot at my house.
That you DNF'd.
Yeah, DNF'd. She was like, Brittany. Was like, I'm not going to have any DNFs this month, only to immediately have a DNF.
That's so funny.
Let's jump in.
Yeah.
Do you have to go anywhere today? Do we have to pick up Macy?
I don't have shit to do.
We can just record and then grill out.
And then I have to take my kids for ice cream. It's our ritual on the first and last day of school. So you can come with us for ice cream. So it's the last day of school today.
I got ice cream on Tuesday. I'm getting ice cream today. And I'm getting ice cream tomorrow. Look out. She's going to shit her pants.
Our little ice cream queen will be shitting herself.
So subtle foreshadowing with my mug that I found at TJ Maxx with a cowboy hat. We're
so
talking
cute.
about cowboy romance today. Specifically, I'm going to be reading, well, no, I'm sorry, I already read one of the books that was sent to us from Penguin. So thanks again, Katie, for thinking of us. I ended up picking Paisley Hope's books. So Kelly has Bailey Hannah's.
Yes.
That's her name, right? Yeah, Bailey Hannah. And then I read the first book, which is Holding the Reins, and it's right here.
Yay.
Look at that cute cover.
It's so cute.
It's so cute. You can see that I flagged some things because I'm going to read some excerpts as we go through this.
Oh, I can't wait. I'll do the same when I do mine.
Yeah, let's just some of these tabs. I can give you some.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I love that.
Let's jump in. Chapter 1. Cece arrives at her hometown airport after fleeing her relationship and life in Seattle. Sound familiar?
It does, actually.
It sounds exactly like the start of Done and Dusted, but alas. So she's struggling with her suitcase, and she hears this familiar voice calling out that she dropped her hair curler thing. When she turns around, she sees her best friend's grandma waving a teal vibrator over her head.
Oh my gosh.
I just knew that you would just laugh so hard at that part. Ma'am, you forgot your curler. She's instantly mortified because it's a small town. These people have known her since she was a literal child and have witnessed this. So mortification's continuing when Granny Damford tells her she knows exactly what she picked up on the ground. She's like, I know you. I got you, girl. I wasn't born yesterday.
That's so funny.
She also tells Cece, a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do, you know? So Cece's best friend, whose grandma this is named Ginger, and she's picking up Cece, and she's running late, of course. So Cece's like, okay, I'm going to sit down on this bench while I wait. There's this telltale sign that Ginger is near, because this white VW bug comes like peeling around the corner with Dolly Parton blaring through the speakers, and she's like, there she is. There's my girl. Ginger tells Cece she's not in trouble with the law, but rather she had to pull over and laugh for a solid 5 minutes after her grandma called her to tell her about the vibrator incident. When they finally pull up to Silver Pines Ranch, Cece is overwhelmed with memories of her childhood and then reminded of her grief because her father is not there to greet her. Cece's dad passed away, and his final words to her served as the final straw in her finding the courage to leave her horrible, cheating fiancé. How did she leave him, you might ask? And that's a really great question. Do you want to know?
I do.
She took her engagement ring off and wrapped it inside of the thong that she found in his jacket pocket in the center of their kitchen table in their condo in Seattle. And he has been hounding her every single day since she's left.
Ooh, like come back to me?
Yeah, come back to me. I'm sorry, baby, I didn't mean it. I still love you. You know that.
Mm-hmm. Fuck off.
Get fucked. Okay. So, Cece makes her way into her family home where her mom, who is affectionately called Mama Jo, her name's Josephine or Jolene. I think it's Jolene. Mama Jo is waiting to embrace her and bombard her with questions about the ex-fiancé, whose name is Andrew. Cece asks her mom to just give her until tomorrow because she wants to, like, decompress.
Yeah.
She's like, I'll explain everything to you tomorrow. I just need some time. She wants tonight to curl up in her cabin with a book. Each cabin on their ranch is named after a Willie Nelson album. Okay. The one that she's staying in is called Stardust. I don't remember what the others are called. Okay. I am not a Willie Nelson fan like that.
Okay.
It's fine. All right.
Fine.
I assume that she did her research and she knows what she's talking about.
We'll move on.
Her stoic and grumpy brother, Wade, is there to greet her as well, calling her Cece Ray, because we have to throw in the middle name. Her name is not actually Cece, okay? It's Cecilia, but he calls her Cece Ray. Wade has been taking care of the ranch since their father passed away. She's looking at her brother, and she realizes exactly how much he looks like their father, which causes her to become a little more emotional and hug him a little tighter, which he's uncomfortable with because he's not really a touchy-feely kind of guy.
He's like, hands off.
He's like, pass off, or what? Ginger overhears Cece and her mom talking about Cece staying in for the night, and she's like, oh, hell no. You're coming with me, and we're going to Horse and Barrel for Sangria Sunday. This book takes place in Kentucky, okay?
Got it. For some reason, I had it in my head it was Canada.
Because the authors are from Canada.
Yes, and my books are in Canada.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, Elsie writes her books in Canada, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. But
Okay.
no, she's from Canada. Her book's in Kentucky. So Sangria Sunday is something that happens every single Sunday in this town, and it is only for the women. They go out and they get fucking lit. And then everybody's hungover on Monday. So every place that employs women in this town has casual Monday instead of casual Friday so that the women can continue to recover from their hangovers while at work.
I love that. That is so funny. Can we adopt
Hilarious.
this in the United States, please?
Yeah, I mean, for real in the United States,
For
not
real.
just in this fictional town in Kentucky.
Yeah, I could have used that today. I had 2 beers last night with dinner,
Oh,
which is
God.
unlike me. Like, I don't drink often.
Yeah, she was getting lit at dinner
I was
last
getting
night.
lit. They were buy one, get one free.
Hell yeah! Where'd you go?
75th Street Inn.
Oh, we haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah. Have you been there with me?
Yeah, we went there for Jason's birthday, I thought, or Eric's birthday.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, with the
Yeah,
sorry, with our
them.
friends, them. You
We
know.
won't drop their legal name. It's fine.
Yeah. We won't drop his full government name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
We drove past there on the way from moving Luis last weekend.
Aw.
Yeah, I was like, I've been there.
I've been to that place. I've eaten in that establishment.
Yes, I have. Okay, so at the bar, they meet up with the third of the OG trio of girls, whose name is Olivia. So it's Olivia, Ginger, and Cece, who are the OG girls. And there's a newbie to the group whose name is Avery. The girls are going over the town's lore of this tiger named Archibald, who has this crazy backstory that I'm sure won't matter later on. So I didn't put any notes in here.
Like a real tiger?
Yep. But they hear this deep voice interrupt them saying, "You know that's bullshit, right?" Lost my place. Cece immediately recognizes the voice. It's Nash Carter, who is her brother Wade's best friend. He apparently grew up as the 4th Ashby sibling. So one of the girls, and I can't remember if it's Olivia or Ginger, calls him Nashby, which is a combination of his first name and their last name, Nashby.
I like it.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, Nash is a retired hockey player who apparently works at Horse and Barrel for free.
Okay.
Retired NHL player, because there always has to be one hockey player in the cowboy romance mix.
Really? Was that a common occurrence?
In Chestnut Springs, there's a hockey player. Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine. Something about the way that Nash interacts with Avery has Cece believing they're hooking up. It was really weird. I was like, okay, and what does it matter?
Calm down.
Of course, we know that she thinks that Nash is extremely good looking. He catches her staring at him while he's at the bar, but she tells us that she's sworn off womenizing men like him because that's exactly who her ex-fiance was. And then we jump into Nash's first chapter.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Nash is watching the Not Angels. That's what he calls Cece and her friends. The Not Angels.
The Not
Like
Angels?
Charlie's Angels. So the Not Angels. So they're dancing together.
Okay.
It's cool. Cute. Okay.
Fine.
This is the group of girls that includes Olivia, Cece, and Ginger, like I just said. He tells us that Cece has come a long way from the clumsy teen who used to dance to Shania Twain in the living room. He also noticed that Cece is wearing a skimpy skirt, and he's contemplating taking her outside to tie a jacket around her waist when a scuffle breaks out. Cece is in the heart of it, yelling in Gemma's face about how on her only night she could be spending with her daughter, she's choosing it to spend at a bar instead. Nash breaks in before the girls jump Emma. And I know, Kelly, you're like, who the fuck is Gemma? Did I miss something? You did not. We find out that Gemma is Cece's brother Cole, the police officer's cheating ex-wife.
Oh.
I was also not aware of who the fuck Gemma was. And I
Okay,
was like,
because I'm like, I feel like there's so many names, but I don't remember.
I know.
Gemma.
Yeah. She's a terrible mom also.
Wait, so Cece has a daughter too?
No, Cece does not have a daughter. Out of all of the 3 siblings, only Cole has a child.
Got it.
Okay. The hierarchy or the order of the children is Wade, Cole, Cece, the youngest.
Got it.
Okay. Wade was also married. Cole was married. Cece was about to be married, and now she's not.
Okay.
All right. So Nash and 2 other men take the Not Angels back to the bar's office, and he tells her if she's going to be in town for very long, she better get used to seeing Gemma around. She tells him she's going to be around indefinitely, and then asks him to bring her another pitcher of sangria because they're going to continue drinking since Ginger was kicked out.
Good.
Good.
Get her ass out.
And she's like, I'm about to get fucked up off these sangrias. As she tells him to bring another pitcher to their table, she pats his cheek and calls him a good boy. He tells us that this sends a current straight to his stick.
What?
Straight to his stick.
The stick?
And he has to remind himself that this is Wade and Cole's little sister. And I was like, I'm going to kill myself.
Forbidden love. Why does this
God.
sound really, like, similar to Done and Dusted?
Because it is really similar to Done and Dusted.
It sounds just like the beginning of that.
It literally. I'm like, I'm going to kill myself.
Like the brother and
yes,
the Forbidden
and frickin'
Love.
Luke
and
Brooks. Oh my
God.
Not my brother, not my best friend's little sister.
I could never.
He tells Asher, who is another character that we have not met yet, to send another pitcher to their table, but he tells him to half the recipe and tells us there's never a dull moment with the Not Angels. He also tells us he's going to have to become a little more desensitized to Cece because he's noticed two things about her, that she's fucking beautiful and really fucking off limits.
Titties on her ass. That's what he's noticed.
Well, that's three things.
Oh, my bad.
Oh my gosh. Drink some water. It's my watch telling me that My watch is telling me that I met my goal for steps today.
Whilst
sitting and gesticulating wildly.
I swear sometimes I can't hear myself.
Maybe it's just your bad ear.
Maybe.
It's just the bad ear. So Cece, of course, wakes up with a hangover from hell to the sound of her brother's loud-ass man voice screaming her name for making a scene at the Horse and Barrel last night. Essentially, he tells her that she has to get her shit together because he can't bail her out the next time she decides she wants to beat his ex-wife's ass in front of everybody. He tells her at the end of the day, he won because he has custody of their child, and that's all he can ask for. Cece expresses her disdain for Nash, telling on her and her friends, and then she tells Cole that Ginger says hi. He tells her that she's always in trouble when she's with Ginger, and she should probably find somebody else to hang out with. Methinks the next book is about Ginger and Cole. I'll keep you posted. Anyway, I'll let you know. Anyway, she tells Cole that she's going up to the main house to have breakfast, and he teases her about needing something to soak up all the alcohol. When she gets in, she finds their mother making bacon and eggs, so she pours herself a cup of coffee and sees that her phone is ringing again. It's only 9 a.m. in Kentucky, which means that it has to be 6 in the morning? Maybe 7 in the morning in Seattle.
Yeah, it's either 2 or 3, depending on
where
they are.
If they're in Eastern or what. Mm-hmm. Andrew's already called her twice, and it's only 9 a.m. for them. Ugh. Her mom tells her, you've got to answer and tell him that he's a prick, and she can't avoid him forever. As soon as Mama Jo stops talking, her phone starts ringing again. So she tells her mom she's going to go answer it out on the porch. Her mom tells her to take the dog with her, but to make sure she puts the leash on. Otherwise, he'll run halfway across town before she knows it.
Uh-oh.
She hooks the dog up to the leash, puts the phone between her shoulder and her ear to answer Andrew, and as soon as she walks outside, the dog tries to bolt, and the leash kind of wraps around her legs, causing her to fall and hit her head.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me of this TikTok. Mm-hmm. There was the doorbell camera, and this lady's trying to take her 2 dogs out. Did you see this one?
I might have.
She's trying to take her 2 dogs out, and all of a sudden you see 2 dogs walk across the lawn towards the dogs that she's holding, and the owner is just being pulled across the grass. They're just along for the ride while their dogs are losing their shit.
Dogs they gotta let other dogs know who's boss. She also throws her coffee mostly in the yard. As she's registering that she's hit her head, she hears a deep voice calling out, saying to her, Ray, are you okay? Did you hit your head? She sees it's Nash, and he's decked out in cowboy garb to include the hat and worn-in jeans.
OMG.
She registers that she can hear Andrew yelling from her phone, but she's not really paying him any mind because she's looking at Nash, who picks up her phone and tells Andrew, she's going to have to call you back, buddy.
Which I'm sure Andrew really appreciated.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh my God, Cowboy Nash is so fucking hot. So we know where this is going.
Yes.
Sorry. Nash helps her off the ground and talks about how he basically spent all night babysitting her. She tells him that she didn't need a babysitter, and he tells her, I've been doing that for half my life. She kind of makes a joke about him preventing her from having any one-night stands, and he tells her that from the sound of that phone call that she was just making, it doesn't sound like she's in any sort of place to have a one-night stand. She tells him it's rude to eavesdrop, and it's also none of his business. What she does, because, I'm cut off. What she does, because she's not taking relationship advice from somebody who's never even been in a relationship. Ooh. Ginger apparently told her that casually being with somebody might be good for her, and Nash tells her she shouldn't listen to what Ginger has to say. He tells her that he'll help her look for the dog, whose name is Harley.
Oh.
She tells him that she doesn't need his help, but he notices that she doesn't look like she's doing okay, so he insists on going with her because if she's concussed, he doesn't want her to be alone if she passes out. They end up making their way to the cabin Cece's staying in, and Cole walks out onto the little porch with the dog. He calls out to her, "Did you lose something? Are you still drunk? You got coffee on your shirt." So she's like, picks him off and sticks her tongue out at him before she grabs the dog's collar.
She said, "Mind your business."
Nash is like, "Wow, that was super adorable," in his head. He tells us that he thinks that was super adorable. Cole asks if she's going to come in and help him with the rest of her bookshelves because he's been waiting on her, and she tells him she'll be back soon. She got a little sidetracked, and she hasn't been able to eat breakfast yet. Cole then turns to Nash and asks if he's coming in. Nash... My note says Nashville. Nash tells him that he's not because he has to go restock the bar because some crazy group of girls drank them out of house and home last night.
Ooh.
Cole then tells him that he'll see Nash tonight and that Mama Jo says, "Bring the Betty."
Bring the Betty?
Yep, I'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Nash says that he wouldn't miss it and that Monday night knitters at the Ashby are going to be a hell of a lot more interesting now that Cece is home. Cece, Ginger, Olivia, and Mama Jo are out at lunch at this restaurant called Salt and Sage, which is a locally owned restaurant owned by their mom's best friend, Mama Jo's best friend. Cece's browsing for a job when she stumbles on one that she feels she's super qualified for. It's a small town, so jobs are pretty limited. This job's been available for at least the last 60 days, so she emails her resume over to the Sports and Rec Center and receives an email back promptly asking her when she's available to interview. She says anytime, and Sherry Lynn tells her to come in by 3. We learn that Olivia runs a bougie lingerie store and that Ginger is a high school English teacher in this chapter as well. All right.
All right. I was about to ask if she she went and demanded that she could be a music producer's assistant.
Oh, no. No.
Are all of our stories converging as one?
When all of the cowboy romances merge. So Sherry Lynn goes by Sunny, and she's kind of like partially retired and drowning in work. Guess who owns the sports complex?
Nash?
Correct. He bought it and did renovations when he retired from the NHL.
Checks out.
Wyatt, who is Cece's dad, always told Nash that idle hands do the devil's work, and Nash tells us he knows that all too well, hence why he has 3 jobs.
Oh, gosh.
He and Harry, parentheses, a bunch of question marks, are arguing at the beginning of the chapter because Nash basically wants to fund the $25,000 required for some purpose, but Harry is extremely stubborn, saying that they don't need the handout. Nash feels very passionately about this because if he hadn't won a scholarship to the hockey program in Michigan one summer, he feels that he never would have made it at all to the NHL. Sunny tells him that her interview will be in soon and that if he could poke his head in about 20 minutes, that would be great, and he agrees to do that. In hindsight, like after writing my notes, I think that what he's trying to fund is scholarships for children in the town to come to hockey camp at the rec center that he owns.
Okay.
And Harry's like, "We will raise the funds ourselves." We have to have some end goal, right? Like we have to figure out how we're going to bring these 2 characters together. So raising the funds ends up being the way that we romantically
Meld
entwine
these
these
2.
characters.
Okay.
The interview goes exactly how you'd imagine a small town interview goes. Sunny asks Cecilia how her mom and brothers are doing, and she answers honestly, they're not doing great since the dad's dead. They go over her resume. Sunny tells Cecilia that she's going to be the perfect fit, but that this job will probably seem like small potatoes compared to what she was doing out west.
Small potatoes.
She ran like a women's center, like a shelter west.
Oh.
Yeah.
In the Seattle?
Yep, out in the Seattle area. She also takes a jab at Andrew, calling him a jackass. Sunny constantly references the owner of the complex as boss, telling Cecilia that he's useless when it comes to the bookkeeping that she'll be doing. She has no idea at this point who the boss is, but when she hears twice in one day Ray from behind her, she's like, oh, fuck, here we go. She turns around, and there's Nash, suited up in hockey gear with a jersey that says Coach on the sleeve, and she's like, fuck, God damn it. There's never a situation where this man does not look good.
Wow.
It's really too bad because I really wanted this job, she tells us. I can't work here now that he's the owner. I gotta go.
Conflict of interest here?
The job has really good pay for the work that she'd be doing, so she obviously wanted the job specifically. Like, she's going to be paid so much more than what she feels the work is worth. Nash makes it his mission to convince Cece to take the job. He desperately needs the help. She lays out exactly why she doesn't want to work for him. 1, he teased her incessantly growing up. 2, he prevented her from going to prom with some asshat named Michael who was running around talking about how he wanted to take her V-card. 3, he's a womanizer. She tells him he better not hurt Avery, which is when he realizes she truly thinks he's a piece of shit who plows through every single woman he sees. Our guy has mentioned many times that he needs to have sex because he specifically found Cecilia rolling her eyes at him in this chapter hypnotizing. That's the word that he used. Hypnotizing.
So he needs to have sex because he's hypnotized by this woman and her sassiness?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's been like 19 months or something since he's gotten it on.
Oh.
Get your freak on, Nash. Damn.
Get your freak on.
He tells her his cardinal rule is not to sleep with employees, ever. She agrees to work for him on a trial basis, but tells him she wants Mondays off so she can help her mom prepare family dinner and pick up her niece from school. He tells her that's cool, and she can work from home whenever she wants because he knows that she wants to spend more time with her mom now that she's home. She seems shocked that he's so nice and accommodating. Then she asks him if she can start on Wednesday because she needs to go clothes shopping. She's wearing this pencil skirt and a silky blouse for the interview, and he's like, what you're wearing is fine. And she tells him that this is pretty much the only business casual attire that she has because all of her other clothes are still at Andrew's condo in Seattle.
Hate that.
Yeah, me too. When she leaves, she tells him she'll see him Wednesday, and he almost forgets that they're actually going to see each other later tonight when he's at her house for dinner. She left everything, like her Kindle, everything.
She just grabbed what she could on her way out.
She mailed herself her laptop.
Wow.
Yeah. Family dinner night, and we finally find out that Betty is just the fucking cobbler.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Someone explain it to us in the comments because we don't know.
Do we know where in Kentucky this is? Do you remember? There's some small ass town we've never heard of.
Laurel Creek. Laurel Creek, Kentucky. I wonder if it's made up.
Probably.
So anyway, the Betty is a cobbler. Mabel and Joe are rolling out biscuits in their matching red aprons when Nash walks in. To be clear, Mabel is the niece, Cole's daughter. He's followed closely by Wade and Cole. Everyone's kind of joking around and living life when Cece strolls in with her papa, whose name is Dean. Papa Dean is exactly what you think when you picture an elderly Kentucky man. He comes in with a guitar, had to say it like that, and starts making all kinds of jokes about G-strings and fingering. Joe's mortified, telling Cole, it's a good thing Mabel went to watch YouTube in the family room because how the hell do you raise a little lady with hellions like these men? Nash tells everyone the big news that Cece is going to be working for him, kind of joking that Wade's going to be the one who works for him. I don't know what that's about.
Sorry, I had to Google the Betty.
Did you find it?
Yeah, it's like a cobbler, but it's layered instead of just like the bottom and I don't know.
Okay.
I've lost my train of thought.
Me too. It's been a hell of a day.
It really has. I'm tired.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to power through.
I'm sorry we're not manic right now.
Yeah, really sorry. And I just saw that I have a lot of pages to go, so it's fine. So Cole makes an offhand comment about how they know Nash doesn't sleep with his female employees, so Cece should be safe. And Nash thanks his stars. No one can read his mind as Cole says this. He's like, I'm going to fuck her. I'm going to fuck your sister.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so she's like, I'm sorry, we're not manic. And then I immediately spiral into absolute mania.
And we both get the giggles.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so Cece reflects on her first day of work, telling us that every time she turned around, Nash was there. She talks about the facility called Olympia and how it's state-of-the-art with new Zambonis and heated fan seating. What the fuck is that like? When we go to hockey to watch Matthew play, I'm freezing my tits off.
Tits froze clean off.
Frozen clean off. Not that I have much to begin with, but they're gone. That would be so nice.
Yeah, there are some where we've been to a few where they have a heater above the stands.
Man.
But sometimes it's so strong that you're like, okay, I can't freaking breathe.
You're like, let me go lay on that ice. Maybe they'll run me over.
Right.
Apparently, Nash is all about giving back to the community these days because the local hockey team's games profits go to various charities, and he even ensures local businesses get the opportunity to be featured. For example, there's this window that allows food trucks to drive up and make profit, but I digress. Cece's kind of zoned out thinking about this new version of Nash when her mom interrupts her thoughts. She asks a question about Nash changing, and her mom tells her that he was there for her even when she thought she didn't need him after their dad passed away. We learn that Wyatt's death was extremely difficult for everyone, even Nash. Cece is distraught that Nash is turning over a new leaf because she can't help but notice how gorgeous he is. And we've reached the point where I'm going to read the first line that I flagged for this book. Okay? I made 2 of my friends read this at work, okay? My depraved pussy doesn't stand a chance.
What?
She's a whore for a backward baseball hat, especially on this devastating-looking hockey star turned part-time cowboy. He locks eyes with mine across the room. It anchors me where I stand. Nash doesn't look away. He owns it and grins, then takes a sip of his bourbon, never breaking the stare. In front of your family? My depraved pussy doesn't stand a chance.
Becomes its own character.
I literally
it is depraved.
I screamed so loud when I read that.
Came out of nowhere.
Her depraved pussy. The yearning begins. The boys are cleaning up after dinner, and Cece and Mama Jo are getting manicures from Mabel. Cece is crying about the ranch because something happened at dinner where her mom looked at Nash before making a financial decision, and Cece's like, fucking busted. I know that something's going on that I don't know about, and I'm going to find out.
Oh, interesting.
She's like, I got to figure out what the hell's up. Mama Jo shoots her down, and talk turns to Andrew, who has been calling frequently still. He assumes that Cece has a new boyfriend from Nash hanging up on him earlier. She gets a delivery. It's books and her laptop that she mailed to herself before leaving Seattle, and Nash offers to carry it to her cabin. While they're walking, she opens up to him about how Andrew cheated on her with multiple women and that her father seemed to know from all the way across the country. Nash is livid over this and tells Cece she deserves better. He sets the box down and approaches her, placing his hands on her shoulders and then sliding them like down the neck of her shirt a little.
What?
Yeah, it was confusing. Sir, that's your best friend's little sister.
Hands off.
He tells her she deserves a man who wouldn't even look at another woman, and then he looks at her lips. Cece tells us that her pussy is screaming at Nash to kiss her.
Pussy is screaming!
Oh my God. But then there's a knock on the door that snaps them out of whatever trance they were in. They snap apart, and then Cole comes in because he forgot his hat and sunglasses from earlier. Nash and Cole end up leaving together, and Cece's like, oh my God, what the fuck just happened?
She's like, calm down.
You're depraved.
Chill.
Stop this. Nash and Wade are working on the ranch the following morning, reminiscing on life. Wyatt and Cece. Somehow the topic of Andrew comes up, and the men agree to kick his ass if he ever comes to town. Nash doesn't sleep well, so he's really dragging ass and decided to go get some coffee from the house before he heads over to Olympia for the day, which is a day full of meetings. He's sitting at the table with his coffee when Cece walks in wearing her pajamas. He notices she's braless and points out her legs and ass and how good they look in this set, thinking she'd look better tangled in his sheets and screaming his name.
His depraved penis said that.
His depraved stick. She sees him at this point and is startled. She's here for coffee too. He can tell that the mug she's reaching for is out of her reach because she's like little lady arms can't reach. So he stands up and helps her. He couldn't before because he had a boner thinking about her and her jammies. They talk about,
does he like tuck it up into his waistband as he stands?
They talk about Nash's horse over coffee, and then Mama Jo comes in shortly after and notices the two, but she doesn't say anything. Nash is like, I gotta go away from Cece to diminish this crush or whatever because she's so fucking off limits. So we have a chapter that's kicking off with a bunch of text messages between the Not Angels, which is Olivia and Ginger, who are trying to persuade Cece into coming out for drinks with them again tonight. She's telling them no because it's the night before her first day of work and she wants to make a good impression. They kind of make jokes about how hot Nash is and tell Cece that she should show up looking super hot to catch his eye. Finally, she gives in and agrees to meet them for one drink. It's never one drink, is it?
Never.
At the bar, Cece and the girls are tucked away in a corner booth. Olivia and Ginger keep craning their necks to look at Nash. They say something about how he keeps looking over at Cece, and if she could see the way he's looking at her, she would see that it is like that, regardless of the fact that they've known each other for Cece's entire life. He brings them over 3 margaritas and tells them it's on the house. As it turns out, just one drink is not just one drink, and Cece wakes up a little late the next morning for her first day of work.
Oh, no.
She's internally bitching about the fact that she's not going to be able to have coffee until she gets to the office because of how late she's running. When she gets out onto her porch, she sees a cup of coffee sitting on her banister that says 2C, 1S, and Ray on the side. 2 cream, 1 sugar. It's for her. She says that Nash clearly had her back this morning because both of her brothers are already working, and that warms her heart a little. Wow. We are at chapter 15. Nash is running a practice for a group of 3rd grade students. As they're running drills, he tells them the fastest one gets to pick their last activity for the day. The fastest one is Sunny's grandson, whose name is Micah. He wants Nash to give his best slap shot, which I guess is called a 95er.
Never heard of it.
Me either.
We can ask Adam.
We'll ask Adam and report back. Nash teases him a little before obliging. He's kind of like, so you're gonna give us your best slap shot and I'm just gonna watch. And then all the kids end up taking their turn after he takes his shot. Sorry, I'm choking on the air. Then it's time for him to switch into business mode. He goes to talk to Cece and asks how her morning's going. She tells him it's gone smoothly thanks to the best coffee in town. She then tells him that he needs to have a file room because there's a ton of documents that she's gotten to start on organizing, but it's still an absolute mess. He tells her he has a meeting with Harry, who is his old hockey coach, who Cece's like, oh, yes, I remember him. He tells her the meeting is about raising funds for each level of the Lightning, which is what the team is called in Olympia. Okay. She tells him, well, she seems kind of interested in the meeting, so he's like, why don't you come with me? And she agrees because she helped do fundraising for the women's shelter, like I was talking about. So she has an eye for this kind of thing. Harry's assistant, Kevin, kind of ogles her, which pisses Nash off to the point where he goes into the meeting thinking a few things. Number 1, I've got to implement a new dress code. Number 2, maybe the dress code should be baggy uniforms from neck to ankle. And number 3, don't kill Kevin. Piss on her leg, why don't you?
Seriously. Only I can touch her.
Touch her and you'll die. The overall plan is to host a festival to raise funds needed for the hockey program. Cece's idea is to use Nash's celebrity status to reel people in. He really likes this idea, and Cece takes diligent notes throughout the meeting. Once the meeting's over, she texts Nash that she made copies of her notes for him, so he makes her way over to her office where they continue to make plans for the festival. Soon, Cece takes a phone call out in the hallway, and Nash and Sunny are left to talk. Sunny tells him to stop looking at Cece with hearts for eyes. He's like, I'm not.
I'm not.
And then he glares at her. She tells him they can't afford to lose her. Cece comes back in, and Sunny encourages her to talk to Kevin. Cece's like, well, I'm not really looking for any sort of relationship right now. And Sunny's like, who said anything about a relationship?
Ooh.
Damn, Sunny, you're old as shit, man. What are you doing? She's like, oh, yeah, that's way more my speed. And then Nash, like, scoffs really loudly. She's like, I know you're not slut-shaming me. Nash reminds Cece of his cardinal rule and then makes it his mission to employ every single man in town to make it impossible for Cece to hook up with anybody because she works for him.
Oh, my gosh.
Cece's in Hangover City the next morning. All they do is drink, man.
Dang.
She and Sunny are going over the plan for the upcoming festival when Nash walks in to see her head in her arms. He makes a joke, and she tells him not to talk to her until her Advil kicks in. Sunny asks if she wants to reschedule her meeting with Kevin, and Nash butts in that he'll also attend the meeting. About 20 minutes later, Cece's Advil's kicked in, and they're heading over to the town hall for something. As he drives, he's thinking about sliding his hand up her thigh and under her dress.
Sir.
She interrupts that thought by asking him if he sleeps. He's like roughly 3 to 4 hours a night. She tells him that's not good for him. I've had this literal conversation with my husband, and asks him if he's sought any professional help. He tells her he's been through 3 therapists and every natural remedy Mama Jo has thrown his way. He has some sort of trauma about his parents dying. We still don't know how they died. Okay, I promise we'll find out.
Okay. Got it.
As she's talking to him, she places her hand on his and tells him he's a good friend for listening, and he pulls away because he doesn't like when people touch him when he's not expecting it. Then he beats himself up for pulling away. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, he was just thinking about feeling her up.
Without her knowing that he wanted to feel her up.
Right.
But, you know, heaven forbid.
Right.
Their meeting is with Leslie at the town hall, and it goes like this. Rules and flirting with an oblivious Nash. I don't know what I'm trying to say. As they're leaving, Cece's stomach growls, so he offers to take her for lunch at Salt and Sage, and she's like, yes. Once inside, a waitress comes out. A waitress calls out to Nash, asking if he'd like his usual, and then takes Cece's order. She makes a joke about Cece needing the home fries to cure her hangover since Nash brought a Shania Twain cover artist just for her to the bar the night before. This is when Nash and Cece start bickering because Nash is like, I didn't bring in the cover artist just for you. And she's like, I know you brought him in just for me. It's just for me. It's just for me. So another waitress comes over to deliver their drinks, and she's extremely flirty with Nash while completely ignoring Cece, which we all hate when that happens.
Gasp.
Once again, he's oblivious. Cece points it out to him, and he's like, you sound a little jealous. She cackles maniacally, which basically confirms it. She calls the waitress Flirty McShows ass. So she comes back and has eyes only for Nash. So Cece's like, see, I told you, to him, which causes him to burst out laughing, and the waitress is definitely still within earshot. It's Monday night dinner again. When Nash walks in, the girls are all having a dance party in the living room. Mama Jo tasks the boys with serving the girls, so they're all in the kitchen when Papa Dean walks in. Jokes ensue about Wade being the best salad tosser in town.
Oh, God.
And then he's calling out to the girls that dinner's ready. As she walks past, Nash grabs her wrist to tell her that he found her necklace at the bar. It's one that her dad gave her 2 Christmases ago. She's grateful for it and tells him to come pour her a bourbon. He watches her ass as she walks away and realizes how deeply fucked he truly is.
Always checking out her ass.
You know, typical man. Good for you. Andrew's made his way into town and asks Cece to meet him for a coffee so they can talk things over. His intent is to win her back, and her intent is for him to agree to sell their condo and mail her all of her clothes that she left when she left. Makes sense, right?
Okay, yeah. I got it. Took me a second, but I got it.
They meet at the coffee shop, and he offers to buy her a chai latte. She can see in his eyes that he doesn't really want to be here with her. He's not really polite to the staff, and when he comes to sit down at the table, he takes out a wet wipe and starts like wiping down all of the surfaces, talking about germs. When he was plowing...
Sounds like somebody from Seattle.
Cece thinks to herself, he sure didn't care about germs when he was plowing through 3 secretaries. Then he tells her that she's been a frigid bitch since her dad died. She tells him to never speak of her father again. Then she gets up and leaves. He follows her, of course, and they continue to argue. He grabs onto her arm. Before she's even like let go, she doesn't even have a chance to say it. Nash is out there rocking his shit.
Yes,
He punches him super hard in the nose, and Cece like looks over and sees her old cheerleading coach standing nearby, looking really shocked. She realizes that Nash must have been on a date with her. He tells Andrew to never show his face here again and makes him apologize to Cece. As he leaves, Andrew calls out that Nash will be hearing from his lawyer, and Nash is like, I look forward to it. Then Shelby, the cheer coach, calls out asking him to unlock the doors to his truck, and he remembers that he was on his date. Cece thanks Nash and tells him that Andrew probably won't come back, but he's clearly been on a date that's now been ruined. He starts to say something, but she cuts him off, telling him to take Shelby home. She's going to go home and change, and she'll see him tomorrow. The only thing that he says to Cece is, I'm sorry he hurt you, before he goes back to his date. He's beating himself up over ruining the date with Shelby because she's so nice. He tells us that right after appetizers came out, Shelby called him out about his head not being on this date and asked who the other woman was that he was thinking about the whole time.
And then Cece comes in, and she's like, her.
So after he punches Andrew in the face, Shelby's like, it's Cece, isn't it? He tells her that he shouldn't be feeling this way because she works for him and how close he is to her family and how her brothers would probably beat his ass for thinking about her like this. Shelby tells him you only have so many trips around the sun and that it's worth it to go after what you want. Yeah, After he drops her off at home, she thanks him for dinner, and he beats himself up again because she's been so nice.
Just always beating himself up.
That he should want something with her, but he can't stop thinking about Cece. Nash, quit beating yourself up so much, sir.
Quit beating it.
Therapy's available. Quit beating it. Quit beating your stick.
I'm like, I don't know if she heard
I
me.
heard it. It just took me a second to register. It's been a long day. That's all.
Yes.
So Cece steps out of her shower, and there's someone pounding on her door ferociously. She slips on her robe and goes to answer it and finds her mom and Wade standing there talking about why she didn't tell them Andrew was in town. Mama Jo dropped the ball that Andrew called her a cunt, and Spicer's Sweets. I think I meant to say at Spicer's Sweets. And Wade seems ready to kick his ass after that. Cece tells him that he needs to get in line because Nash already handed the man his ass. And Wade says he'll have to thank Nash when he sees him tomorrow. Cece tells her family that she just wants to... Sorry. Just want to move this. That she just wants to go to bed, and she loves them, but they need to leave now. They do. So she goes back into the bathroom to blow dry her hair, thinking about how nice a cup of tea and a new romance book sound, and that'll be the fitting end for her night because she's had such a rough day. As she's filling her kettle, she hears another knock on her door, and she begrudgingly makes her way over, thinking it's Cole come to have his turn about Andrew. But when she opens the door, it's Nash standing under her porch light.
Nashy poo.
Nashby. She lectures him about blowing off his date for her, then lectures him about being a cockblock for her.
My dryer's done.
Sorry, the dryer's done. She lectures him about blowing off his date for her, and then lectures him about being a cockblock for her whole life, and he simply asks her which of her brothers told her. She's like, it was Wade. He's like, I can't help but be protective of you. And she's like, I already have 2 brothers. I didn't need you to do that. He tells her he won't apologize for being protective, and then starts talking about how he only sees her when he looks at other women. She seems surprised. He asks her if she knows how much he tortures himself, reminding himself who she is, telling himself not to think about her. Then he turns to walk away. When he turns back to her, she notes that his pupils are super blown out, and she licks her lips subconsciously. Okay. So what is it? Have we reached the point where he says the thing that they always say?
Fuck it.
Fuck it. And they're kissing.
So if you have that on your bingo card, mark it off.
Mark it off. They agree to no feelings, only sex, before he fingers her on her kitchen counter.
Okay.
Throwing you right in there, damn, dude. Of course, she's never climaxed like this before and is surprised when he gets her there. Sorry, I just read my next sentence. Oh, he licks his fingers when she's done and then carries her to her bed where he strips her bare. He tells her he has one more rule, and that's that he will always be in control, and she's like, yes, right. I'm fine with that, yes. She talks about how he looks good. She talks about how he looks this good under his clothes, and he's half naked, and he scoffs and tells her she's a work of art. Sorry. Talk to text really did me dirty with this one.
No, you're beautiful. No, you're beautiful.
You're a work of art. All right, so he goes down on her, and she's like, no one's ever done this before.
Gone down on her?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know if she's only been with Andrew.
Oh.
That strikes true. When a man's cheating on you, he won't go down on you. Anyway, we need to just have a laugh cut. We just need to have just a laugh cut of us just laughing for 45 freaking minutes straight. So when she climaxes this time, she seems shocked. He tells her to tell him what she needs, and she tells him she needs him, then directs him to her bedside drawer where he finds a Costco stockpile of condoms.
I'm going to say she directs him to her deprived pussy.
He also finds her vibrator. When he removes his boxers, she freaks out. And now I have another tab to read.
Let me guess. Can I guess?
Yeah, I guess.
The biggest one I've ever seen. Is it going to fit?
No.
Oh.
You're going to wreck me. She's shaking her head as she speaks. You won't fit that battering ram inside of me.
Oh my God. A battering ram?
Battering ram?
First when I guessed that it wouldn't fit and you were like, no, I was like,
oh, what?
Micro?
Down there. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. They get it on, and he has to think of unsexy things to prevent himself from blowing his load too soon. She tells him not to hold back because they have one night together, and that's it.
Of course. That's all.
He tells her if she comes, he comes too, and so they both do. He kisses her again, whispering, You're fucking paradise, Cecilia. And thinking there's no fucking chance that one night with her will ever be enough. He gets her into the shower, he helps her clean herself up, and she asks if he treats all his one-night stands this way. He tells her he's never washed a woman's hair before, so she jokes that she pulled the one-night stand golden ticket. He says something like that before he takes her back to bed and hits it doggy style. She might have ruined him in this go-round. This is literally, I wish that you all heard me talking to myself to my phone.
You're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm just like talking to myself as I type these, well, as I say these notes into my phone. He wakes in her bed the following morning and totally cops the fuel once she's awake. He tells us they did it 3 times the night before, including once in the middle of the night. She tells him she's not functional in the morning without coffee, and he gets up to make her some. She's fallen asleep by the time he comes back, but he wakes her up by sliding his hands all over her body. She's
Like giving her a mushroom stamp. Morning.
She sits on top of him, and he tells her he wants to feel her, and she knows what he means. Do you know what he means?
Yes. Yes.
They go at it again. Raw, with her on top. She tells him her brothers could never know, and he ruined her for any other man. He takes pride in that and tells us she ruined him too. Finally, she asks him if he's helping the ranch out financially, and he tells her he's going to have to tell her the whole story. Here's the whole story. The story starts when he was 19 and she was 12. He was having a hard time dealing with his parents' death, so he came to the ranch during off-season for hockey while he was still at university. He drank himself into a stupor in one of the pastures, but Cece found him and asked if he needed help. He told her no, but she ended up sitting with him anyway, playing music on her iPod until Cole showed up. Cole sent her back to the house, and then Nash got in the car and drove, even though he knew he shouldn't have. He ended up taking out a couple of county signs and then one of the neighbor's fences, but at that point, Wyatt and Mama Jo were already on their way and found him. Wyatt convinced Nash to get in the car with Mama Jo, and he stayed and took the blame for the torn down fence and signs, saying that truck Nash was driving was blocking his, so he opted to take it instead of asking Nash to move it. When he gets back from the incident, he tells Nash that he gets one get out of jail free card, but he needs to get his shit together and get help. Wyatt apparently helped Nash find some therapists to help him work through his parents' death. So when Wyatt got sick, Joe confided in Nash how deeply in debt they were with his medical bills, telling him that this experimental treatment that they had him go through alone cost over $200,000.
Wow.
Nash settled all their debts and has been paying a ton on the ranch ever since. She tells him that she had no idea, and then he makes a joke about where all her sass went. She tells him, "Don't worry, it'll be back by noon," and then goes to start getting ready for work. He's contemplating getting in the shower with her when his phone starts buzzing. It's Wade who noticed his truck and asks if he's at Cece's. He tells him that he had something come up with one of the accounts that she's managing, and he was just going over with her this morning before they got to the office. Wade's like, "Cool, I'll meet you over there," but Nash is like, "Oh, can't do that. It still smells like sex in here." So he's like, "I'm just leaving." He texts Cece that he left and he heads out. He didn't want Wade coming in because it smells like sex in Cece's cabin. Okay, Cece gets out of her shower. Reality comes crashing down around her. She has to figure out how to be normal now. She finds her phone and sees messages from Nash, as well as a bunch from the group chat where Olivia and Ginger are going back and forth about Cece saving a horse.
Saving a horse?
Mm-hmm. Save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Oh. Did they know?
No, they don't know.
Okay.
They literally don't know.
Okay. I'm like, wait.
They literally ask if Nash fucked her to death in the wake of beating Andrew's ass, and she finally texts them back that she's alive and he didn't fuck her to death, and they're like, confirmation! She definitely rode a cowboy last night. They're very obsessed with this possible romantic relationship between Cece and Nash, and that's like really fun to read, you know? Mm-hmm. The friends being like, yes, do it, girl, get it. Mm-hmm. Especially because Cece has more than one friend. Like with Emmy, it was always just her and Teddy until like Cam came into the picture and Ada, which are, you know, the other boys, like women.
Yeah.
But it's always just Emmy and Teddy in the first book. So it's nice to see somebody else, like them having more than one friend.
I like it.
Anyway, he heads back to his house after meeting with Wade, who thanks him for always looking out for Cece. On the way, she texts him, so he pulls over to text her back. He offers to bring her breakfast to make up for bailing out early that morning. When he finally makes it to his house, he showers and changes before heading out again. He gets Sunny her usual coffee and powdered donut, an entire box of pastries for Cece. When he sees her at the office, his tongue basically hangs out of his mouth in front of Sunny, who makes a joke about Main Street boxing, having him in a good mood, but switches her tune when Cece leaves to assuming Cece saved a horse and put Nash in a good mood.
Wow.
He tells her she has boundary issues, and then he leaves.
Stay in your lane,
Stay
Sonny.
in your lane, Sonny. Quit it. Cece eats multiple danishes while attempting to pull her head out of the clouds, but ends up getting roped into another text exchange with the Not Angels about Nash's stick. They want to know if it's more a banana or eggplant, and then invite themselves over for the sleepover Cece is having for Mabel later that evening. She keeps checking her phone to see if Nash has responded to her, but he hasn't. She ends up packing up and leaving to stop by the store before heading home, and is kicking her own butt by 5 for sleeping with him. When he does reply, he tells her he was super busy that day because 2 of his trainers called off and he had a bunch of meetings. They end up going back and forth for a bit, and he tells her to have fun with Mabel tonight, and she feels like that whole exchange was very awkward. Ginger and Olivia are getting all the tea about Cece's night with Nash. They want to know if it was good. Cece gives them the "Are you fucking kidding me?" look in response to that. Mm-hmm. She tells them it was incredible, and then how awkward it was today. She mentions Cole and Wade killing him, and then Cole rounds the corner asking who he has to kill. She plays it off like it's Andrew, and he's like, Nash already took care of him for us. And then he and Ginger are going round and round about her negative influence on his daughter. He tells Cece he'll be back in the morning, and then Ginger hatches a plan to make Cece see how Nash looks at her. Tomorrow night, they're going to be celebrating Avery's birthday at the bar, and she wants Cece to watch how Nash reacts to other men talking to her. She tells the gals she's not ready for a relationship since she and Andrew just broke up. She tells us she's not going to have to take... What? She tells us that she's not going to have to take that she was okay with hitting it and quitting it with Nash, but she's good at taking because she spent the last several months faking. I got it. Okay. She tells us she's going to have to fake that she was only okay with hitting it and quitting it with Nash, but she's good at faking because she spent the last several months faking it with Andrew. Thanks for going on that journey with us of deciphering my notes.
It was a journey.
Ginger goes to the bar and tells Nash to pull his head out of his ass and stop being afraid he's going to lose Cece like he lost his parents. He's shocked by how easily she hit the nail on the head. He tries to deny his feelings, but Ginger shuts it down every single time. Finally, he tells her to leave, and he steps out of his office and calls Cece. She picks up after the second ring. Mabel wakes Cece up the next morning, telling her Mama Jo made chocolate chip pancakes. Cece tells us that she and Nash were on the phone for hours after he called her. First talking about work, then shifting into everything they could think of until almost 3 a.m. She flops herself back on her childhood bed and thinks about Nash, which is getting her hot and bothered. But before she can chill her bits in her childhood room, she jolts out of bed, gets her robe on, and goes downstairs. She's skimming her text from her girlfriends when she hears a familiar voice telling her good morning.
Good morning, sweetheart.
And Cowboy Nash is sitting at the table looking at her with a coffee in one hand. She sits at the table, and then Wade comes storming in. He's not having any luck finding a new trainer, and the second interview is running 6 minutes late. 6 whole minutes.
Not 6 minutes.
He's being a royal biatch about it, too. When she finally shows up, she's extremely apologetic, but Wade is not having it. He kind of berates her to the point where Mama Jo's telling him, don't be such a jack-off. Damn, dude. Which in Pittsburgh, it would be jag-off.
Really?
It bothered, yeah. You're a jag.
Everyone, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, with the G, jag-off. Everyone thinks it's so funny when she says this. She even invited Ivy, the new interviewee, to stay for breakfast, but Grumpy Wade won't let her. We find out that the reason he's so grumpy this morning is that his wife finally signed their divorce papers yesterday, and she gets to keep their house.
That'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do. The girls roll into the bar tipsy from Avery's birthday dinner. They take some shots and order margaritas. Cece notices Nash behind the bar talking to 2 women, a blonde and a brunette.
Who are they?
The blonde she recognizes as the waitress from Salt and Sage, Flirty McShows-her-ass. She notices Nash slide a piece of paper across the bar and the woman laughing before she puts the paper in her pocket, and Cece is overcome with jealousy. Her alcohol-addled brain tells her it's a phone number, so she pushes herself over her limit and is so drunk while dancing to country cover songs that she convinced herself she and her friends are the best dancers in the world.
Oh, gosh. I've had nights like that.
Yeah. We've had nights like that together.
So much fun.
So much fun. Can't wait to do it again when I'm not medicated. She feels someone slide their hands around her hips as she's dancing, but she doesn't register it's not Nash until Olivia tells her to come with her to the bar where Nash is actually glaring daggers at the blonde dude who was grinding on his woman. He tells us that if this dude touches Cece again, he's going to snap his neck in the bar, and then the dude touches her again. He's like... not touching her. So he sees Olivia pull her away. He tells Asher Cece's cut off, and then he and one of the bouncers breaks up this fight that's going on. When he comes back in, he sees that one of the other bartenders has given Cece a shot. So he grabs her by the hand and takes her back to the office. She makes a joke about him plying her with 2 expensive drinks and chicken wings in the office, and he just shakes his head. Then he notices that she still has the shot and she's about to take it. It hasn't spilled any of it despite him dragging her back here.
Wow.
And it's like completely full. Like,
Abigail?
oh my God. So she tells him that if he wants, so he's like, give it here. And she's like, if you want it, you're going to have to take it from me. And then she puts it between her boobs. He comes up close to her and kisses her once on the neck and tells her he never wants to see another man's hands on her body again. Then he asks her if he makes himself clear and kisses her on the collarbone, then again just above her boobs. He asks her if she understands, and she says, yes, sir. He says, good girl, don't ever make me tell you that again. And then he takes a shot. She calls himself out about the waitress, and he tells her that if she thinks for 1 second she's in a bar in that dress and he's looking at someone else, she's lost her fucking mind. She tells him that she hates how much she wants him, and he says that feeling is mutual. As he's walking out, he tells Ginger and Olivia that he's taking Cece home. Call Cole, make sure the other girls have a way to get home. And as he gets Cece into his truck, she says, I wish you weren't so hot. It would make my attempt at not wanting you a lot easier. So he calls Cole and tells them, hey, you need to make sure these other girls get home safely.
Because I'm not returning.
Because I'm not coming back. I'm going to
go rail your sister.
I'm not going to rail your sister because she's drunk. But tomorrow morning... that's a whole other story. As they're driving home, she asks about the waitress again, mentioning that she saw him give her his phone number. He asks if she was jealous, and she's like, no, I'm not the jealous type, even though she wanted to fight the girl. He tells her that it's likely she won't remember tomorrow, but he definitely did not give the woman his phone number. He takes Cece back to his house because he doesn't want to leave her alone in the state that she's in, but he also doesn't want to field questions from her family about why he stayed at her house. He brings her to his room and gets her one of his t-shirts to wear. He walks her into the bathroom. Then he gives her like a washcloth so she can clean her face as well as the t-shirt. 15 minutes later, she still hasn't emerged from the bathroom, so he goes to check on her. She tells him to go away because she doesn't want him to see her like this.
Oh, no.
He goes in anyway and finds her sitting beside the toilet. She told him she felt like she was going to be sick, so he kind of he literally braids her hair for her.
That would do me in right there.
Literally, me too. And then he sits with her until the feeling goes away. He takes her to his room and he helps her change out of her dress. She's not wearing any underwear, and he groans about it. She tells him she didn't want any lines in her dress. He gets her into bed and heads out to his couch. When he finally falls asleep, he dreams about the night his parents died. Basically, his dad wanted him to rake leaves because somebody was coming over to appraise their house. But he had hockey practice, so Dad was like, come rake the leaves and then I'll take you to hockey practice while the appraiser is here. You'll be at hockey practice. Being a teenager, he was really upset about this, and he had an attitude about raking the leaves. His mom promised he'd make it to practice on time. Basically, he was in a horrific car accident with his mom and dad. The dream that he has is extremely vivid. It was very graphic in here, and I don't really want to go too much into detail because it was actually pretty traumatizing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very detailed?
Yes.
Oh.
Very detailed.
Okay.
The car accident was bad enough that the mom, who was sitting in the front seat, ended up in the back seat with her son. Okay. She wakes up to him screaming out no and bolts from his bed to find him on the couch. He stares through her as she's trying to talk to him. He talks about how selfish he was and how he couldn't do anything to save his parents. We learn that Cece's parents took him in, and he got drafted his senior year of college instead of his senior year of high school for the NHL because he broke his leg and a few of his ribs in the accident. She finally gets him calmed down enough to take him back to bed, where they fall asleep with her holding tight to him like she hums him to sleep.
Aw.
Are you his mom or his girl?
She's like patting his
I'm just
bottom.
kidding. They wake up in the same position they fell asleep in. He nudges his morning wood against her thigh unintentionally. She groans because she clearly has a hangover from hell, but our guy was prepared, so he points out the Gatorade and Tylenol on the table beside her.
Love it.
She takes them and goes back to sleep. When she wakes up again, it's to the smell of bacon and coffee, a man after my own heart. He's prepared a feast for her, which he serves to her in bed. He also ran over to her cabin to fetch her some clothes and other necessities for the day. He tells her they're spending the day together, which will include fishing and getting the bar ready for Sunday. She's like, so we're going to hang out? And he's like, instead of pretending there's nothing going on here, I thought we'd try something different and actually spend time together.
Like it.
Me too.
Cutesy. Okay.
So they end up fishing with this guy named Rocco, who is the actual owner of the bar, and they being Cece and Rocco, shit talk Nash the entire time that they're fishing. Cece outfishes them both, and Nash tells us he wants more moments like these with her. After they're done fishing, they head over to lunch, where the group chat is blowing up with speculation. Cece is replying, reassuring her friends that all's well and that it's not a date, that she's just hanging out with Nash. He takes her phone, reads the thread, laughs, then texts the gals that it's him. Cece's in denial. This is a date. Leave us alone. She asks him about the dreams, and he tells her the only time he hasn't had the dreams have been nights that he slept next to her. They head over to the bar after this and shake the gals off their tail. They got to shake them off because the town's only so big. They know that they're probably at lunch.
They can't get far without being noticed, and word travels fast.
Exactly. So when they get to the bar, Nash gives Cece a list of like cleaning to do, and she's more than happy to do it. Once they're both finished with their tasks, he approaches her, lifting her down from the stepladder and setting her on the counter. He strips off both their clothes, leaving her only in her undergarments, and tells her she's going to learn what it felt like for him last night.
Oh no.
He then masturbates in front of her.
What?
Yep. She gets some action with his lips and tongue, but not enough for her to reach a climax. When he finishes, it's all over her chest and chin, because he was mad that she got so drunk that he couldn't fuck her when he realized that she wasn't wearing any underwear under her dress.
So now he gets to masturbate onto her pearl necklace
or something like that. They head over to Cece's cabin, and she's a little pissy because
sticky
because she thinks that he used her to get himself off, and he's going to leave her hanging. He tells her that they're only here to grab her stuff that she needs to have enough stuff to stay with him for the whole weekend. He tells her that he wants to make her dinner tonight, and suddenly her attitude is much happier. Same.
She's just angry.
Is there food?
That's all.
Is there food?
Is there food involved? Okay.
He makes her chicken marsala, which sounds so good. I'm hungry.
I haven't had that in a long time.
And then he makes sweet, sweet love to her. He has a thing for spitting, it seems, because he spits on her clit in this scene. They also come together because they're perfect together, and they were made for each other. I hate myself.
I'm annoyed.
He calls her... Okay.
Perfect.
So I'll let you all know that this is the point in the book where I became irate. So I was like, I'm done. He calls her Little Firefly.
No, please stop.
And I said... And that makes me irate. They have an age gap. Please don't remind me.
Right.
God.
I meant to bring that up. So he was 19 and she was 12.
Yep.
Is this someone that you told me about? Or was there another one where it seemed like there was grooming of some sort?
No, I feel like that was another one where there was grooming.
Yeah, that was another cowboy romance. I can't speak.
I don't remember if it was cowboy. There was one where it felt like, oh no.
I know you talked about it in another podcast.
It was a book that I DNF'd because it was like this girl, she goes to live with her dad's best friend after her parents die. Mm-hmm. And she like has lusted after this man since she was 8 years old.
What?
Yeah. And like he bought her flowers for her birthday. And it just felt very like he was grooming her. And so I had to stop. All right. Our pair spend the weekend sexing it up. We open the chapter.
Sexing it up.
We open this chapter with both of them in his like massive bathtub talking about the festival. He's tracing hearts in the bubbles on her back. So I guess he's smitten now. They end up going for around 1 million. Mama Jo's onto them though. She texts Cece asking where the hell she's been. Cece told her she was with Ginger. Mama Jo's like, no, you weren't. She ends up telling her that she and Nash are working. Mama's like, on a Sunday? Then Wade's texting.
Working on what?
Working on what? Working on babies? Then Wade texts the family group chat calling a meeting in 1 hour. Mama's like, they're working. And everyone else is like, on a Sunday? Right. They put their clothes on for the first time since Saturday and get their game faces on for this meeting.
They wash the sex smell off of them.
Out of their hair. So the meeting is just to decide whether or not to bring Ivy onto the staff. Everyone agrees. Then Mama Jo decides to welcome her to town Ashby style. If you're wondering what that is, I'm here to tell you that it's just taking Ivy out for Sangria Sunday.
Oh.
Even Cole and Wade show
sloshed.
up. Yeah. Even the brothers show up to make sure everyone's staying out of trouble. The girls barely stay out of trouble, and Ivy's the ringleader of the dance troupe this time, saying her boss already looks disappointed in her and adds to the flame by dancing. Cece breaks away from the group after a while, and Nash sneaks away from the table with offers to bring the guys back more drinks. Nash and Cece end up fucking in the stockroom this time, and I'm positive he left the stockroom wearing Cece's cherry red lipstick because she was wearing fucking lipstick, and they went in there to go to Pound Town. They definitely kissed, too. And then I open my next segment, and I say, no one noticed the lipstick. At least it's not brought up in this chapter.
Brittany is disappointed.
I am. I wanted this to be the moment where someone catches them.
They're like, did you go to the washroom to put on some lipstick?
Yeah, they're like, damn, Nash, didn't know that you wore the same shade as Cece. Cece's going to have brunch with her mom this morning, but she's handling some tasks for the festival first. She's on the phone when Nash comes in, and he gives her some kisses, trying to rile her up. She tells him about brunch, and then her email dings. See, she's neglected to tell him, Reed, willingly chosen not to tell him, that Andrew emailed her last night saying that he sold the condo and she needs to come to Seattle to finalize things. Nash offers to go with her, but she shuts him down because she wants to do this on her own. He keeps pressuring her, saying he's not able to protect her and take care of her if he's not with her, but she's adamant that she goes alone. She sees the moment that his walls come back up, but she stands firm in her conviction that she's going to do this on her own. She tells us that she spent 8 years chasing a man and she will never do that again. We literally only learn that Nash is pissed that she told him he can't go. That's why he's mad. Just like, not that he saw the email, he's only mad because
she said no.
She said no. He talks about her breaking down every wall he's ever built. When Wade approaches him to thank him for taking on a class, he tells Nash he looks like he's chewing fire. They agree to meet for lunch after, and this is the first moment he feels guilty for going behind his friend's back with his sister.
Of course. Here it comes.
Mama
Does he punch him in the face?
Oh, just wait. Luke Brooks, is that you? Mama knows something is up, but no one else does. Cece is explaining to her family how she has to go to Seattle because Andrew sold the condo. She tells them she'll be leaving around tomorrow morning and coming back the next day. Right as she's saying this, Nash walks into the kitchen. Cole asks if he hears her talking about going to Seattle by herself, and Nash is just like, yup. Cole suggests that she take one of her girlfriends with her, pointing out that Ginger is annoying enough to potentially kick someone's ass if they needed it. Mabel asks Cece if she's going to come watch her in her lesson today, and Cece's like, of course. The three girls walk together toward the writing area, and Mama Jo finally gets to the point where she flat out asks Cece what's been going on between her and Nash. She gives her the advice that absence makes the heart grow fonder, saying that she should go to Seattle and get her ducks in a row. She explains that Nash is fragile, and then tells Cece it took Wyatt 4 months to admit he had feelings for her when they were falling in love. Mabel calls out to Cece, and it's at this point that Nash realizes that she's standing right there watching. Nash has done everything he can around his house, and it's only 7:30 p.m. He's like, okay, 30 minutes, and then I can text Cece. He texts her 5 times in a row. She doesn't answer any of his texts. In his 30 minutes of downtime before texting 5 times, he downs an entire glass of bourbon. When she doesn't answer his texts, he ends up getting in his truck and driving like a bat out of hell to her cabin. He pounds on her door like a Neanderthal, and she lets him in. They continue to argue. He's come to the realization that he's in love with her. He sits on her couch and unbuckles his pants before taking his stick out and stroking himself in front of her.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Well, it happens. She tries to resist, but can't.
Okay, ick.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
stop manipulating me. God damn.
I personally have no interest in seeing a man. Sorry, this is making me crazy.
Oh, is it? Sorry.
I have no interest in a man doing that in front of me to try to
win me over.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
He tells
Sorry.
him
To each their own.
Yeah.
I will not. What is it? Yuck your yum?
Yeah, it's not for Kelly though. He tells himself not to tell her he loves her while she's riding him.
Okay. Don't tell me you love me.
This is so ridiculous. He comes so hard. He thinks that he's come twice.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. They do talk about Andrew and the trip to Seattle, but it's very brief because she's too busy riding him. They're lazily getting back together after their mind-blowing sex. Okay, they're getting their shit back. Like, they're getting themselves adjusted after their mind-blowing sex. And this is when Wade walks in and chews Nash a new one for being with Cece. He knows they're hooking up. Nash flounders and doesn't back Cece up, so she's mad at him now too. She confesses she loves him, and he asks her, what if he loves her too? But it all goes away one day, and he loses the only family he has left.
Is this all in front of Wade? Or has Wade stormed out at this point? Like, is he still in the room listening to this banter?
I don't know. I don't remember. I didn't
dare
put it
you.
in my notes. I'm sorry. I should have. I should have
Okay.
anticipated the question that you would ask. So he's like, what if it all goes away one day and I lose the only family I have left? She's like, you got to have faith. Now leave so I can go to Seattle and handle this shit with Andrew. No, I will never chase you. So you have until then to figure it out. When he leaves, she finally starts crying. She texts her girlfriends when she lands in Seattle. They encourage her as best they can, with Ginger offering to beat ass if need be. She tells us that Andrew picks her up at the airport despite their agreement that she would Uber back to the condo in their original plans. She goes through her belongings and donates a ton of stuff to that women's shelter that she used to work at and drinks Andrew's most expensive bottle of wine. He texts her asking her to join him for dinner to go over plans for closing on the condo. She's reluctant, but he kind of forces her to agree to meeting him. So she ends up meeting him at this restaurant that they used to frequent during college, and he bombards her with 4 of his closest friends and colleagues who are joining them for dinner. Nash has texted her every day talking about how he froze up and panicked. Her mom and Cole have also texted her, which she takes as confirmation that Wade filled them in on everything that's going on between her and Nash. She says that Cole is a little gruff about the situation, but that he's always been the calmer of her brothers when it comes to pretty much everything. Okay, so Nash went to Seattle. She doesn't know that he's there. He confessed his love for her to her family over Monday dinner this week and then flew out immediately to be there in case shit goes sideways. He somehow has everyone's blessing to be with Cece at this point, including Wade. Who promises to beat his ass for any missteps. He follows Cece to the restaurant and witnesses the ambush. The girls in the group with Andrew and Cece talk to Cece about how infidelity is just part of being with a man who is as powerful as Andrew, and they normally make it up to you by giving you a condo or an American Express card to ease the pain. Cece's like, fuck that.
Wow.
She grabs her purse and steps away from the table. Andrew follows her, which is when Nash makes his grand appearance.
He's like, hey, remember me?
He literally grabs Andrew by his neck and lifts him up off the ground, like pinning his neck against the wall with his hand until Andrew's starting to turn purple. And he yells at him about how he better never call Cece his fiance again, or he'll rip his tongue out with his bare hand. Then he takes
aggressive.
Yeah. Can you tell that he was a hockey player? Yeah, it just shows.
It shows.
He takes Cece out of the restaurant where he confesses that he loves the shit out of her in the middle of the street, and then they're kissing in the rain. He paints a picture of him coaching their children playing hockey, taking them fishing on the weekends, and all kinds of other shit. She's overwhelmed with emotion and kind of cries again. He also apologizes for not telling Wade and standing up to him in the instant where they were caught. Okay. For chapter 55, I only have a very brief line and something to read. Oh, I forgot to read that line. Sorry.
Whoops.
It wasn't anything important. It was about when he masturbated in front of her. Okay, so he fingers her in the cab on the way back to the hotel.
Oh.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Her eyes meet mine in the dark of the cab now, and the need to touch her takes over my body. It's primal. I slide a hand between her thighs over her silky tights and find the heat already waiting for me at the apex. Fuck, it's only been 3 days, but I missed her so fucking much it hurts. Her hand covers mine as my fingers squeeze the fleshy goodness of her thighs. I look out the window, gathering my bearings about where we are and how far across the city we still have to go. The cab driver in the front seat is wearing AirPods, and I can hear his podcast through them from here. I use my thumb to find the sweet little berry between her legs. I press lightly, and she pants out a weathered breath in the dark. God. I circle her clit as her breath increases with my every touch. You're welcome!
Read for more.
I do have another one after... Okay, so they get back to the hotel room because she was staying at the condo, but he was staying at the hotel across the street. So he takes her to his hotel. She strips in the hotel and makes him wait for her to be completely naked before telling him to crawl to her. And
yes, get his ass.
This literally made me want to vomit. Oh, no. I had so much secondhand embarrassment.
Oh, no.
You're the queen I crawl to. I'll kneel at your feet for the rest of my fucking life. Now sit on your throne. Before I can even register what's happening, Nash pulls me down onto his face, holding my body up with only his arms, gripping the flesh of my lower back as his tongue presses firmly up the slit of my dripping core, and I shudder. I moan and whimper uncontrollably as his tongue begins to make a meal of my depraved pussy. Just kidding, it just says pussy. Tight and perfectly pressured flicks swipe my clit as 2 fingers plunge into me. Sorry, some small compartment of my brain comprehends that he's holding me up with only one strong arm wrapped around me and his face. My legs go weak as he speaks, his voice deep, full of gravel and commanding, the alpha rising from the ashes.
Oh my God.
Come, little queen, soak my face, baptize me, and then I'll fuck you like the king who owns this pussy. I said in my notes, this man literally has started to give me the ick in case I didn't mention it. He calls her his little firefly, and I fucking hate that. The amount of times that he calls her little firefly.
Really? I hate the little pet names.
The infantilizing of women never ceases to amaze me. All right, well, he pins her up against the wall as he impales her with his battering ram. Battering ram. I gotta start over again. I forgot that I typed this. He pins her up against the wall as he impales her with his battering ram of a pee-pee.
A pee-pee.
And tells her that every part of her belongs to him. She describes it again as primal. I describe it as what the fuck.
What the fuck?
I'm also at this point in the luteal phase of my cycle, so I'm probably just being an extreme hater. Obviously, they arrive together after confessing their love for one another.
Always.
Is that on the bingo card? Did you put that on the bingo card?
Coming at the same time?
Yeah.
I think so.
Good.
I'm pretty sure I did.
All right, it's the night of this charity hockey game that's part of the fundraiser. It's all tied up between the townies and the professionals because that was the goal, to get some professional hockey players to come and play against the townies and raise a bunch of money. Cece tells us that she's wearing Nash's jersey that he won the Stanley Cup in because, of course, he's a Stanley Cup fucking champion.
Of course he is.
She's sitting in the stands with all of the women in her life. Nash goes for the face-off for the puck, and the ref calls offsides. She starts screaming profanity at him, and Ginger's like, damn, girl, it's a good thing you weren't with him when he was actually playing in the NHL. Obviously, the professionals end up winning, and then Nash takes her back home. Before he even gets into the house, he's trying to cop a feel. He tells her he deserves a reward for being good all day. She asks him exactly what he wants, and he tells her he wants complete control over what's going to happen next. Teal vibrator from the first chapter makes its grand reappearance, and he tells her he wants to know who she thought of while she was using it. She tells him, it's been used since the night I came home. So basically, he uses the vibrator to get her to climax, and then they have sex again.
Wow.
All right, 6 weeks later, Nash is proposing. The chapter focuses...
He's proposing?
Yeah. The chapter focuses solely on the proposal. We learn that their charity fundraiser raised enough money for like 3 years of fees for the kids, for the town, so that's pretty cool, I guess. There's a group chat with Ginger and Cole, which actually made me laugh because the pair were bickering so much that Nash left the chat and Cole added him back in. So they're definitely going to smash in one of the books. He proposes to her in the bar, the Horse and Barrel, in front of all their friends and family, while Ivy, that's the new ranch hand, plays Shania Twain's From This Moment.
Oh, how romantic.
At this point, I am so fucking furious because he says to her, direct quote from the book, I love you so much, Cece Ray Ashby, soon to be Carter. If a man ever said that to me in real life, I'd give him the goddamn ring back and say, we can try again later, because what the fuck you mean this man is 32 and saying middle school boy shit?
Seriously. And I would knee him in the balls.
Yeah.
That's all.
For the audacity.
The sheer
all right.
audacity.
Epilogue. Parentheses, thank Christ.
I was reading that over your shoulder and like giggling to myself. I'm like, what did she say? Oh, thank Christ.
Thank Christ. 7 years later, Cece and Nash are married, and they have 2 children named Ruby, 5, and Rex, 9 months. Hate that his name's Rex. Nash is, in fact, Ruby's hockey coach, and she's a goalie. They win their first game, first one of the season, and everyone's content and happy. So, here's my closing thoughts, okay?
Okay.
The book was fun in the first parts, but by the time the third act conflict or drama arose, I was getting really annoyed. I went into this wanting more than just lust, and I feel like it didn't deliver as much on the love front as I would have liked.
Yeah.
I'm also really tired of the older brother catches us in the act trope when it comes to when it comes to brothers' best friends.
Mm-hmm.
I really want more brothers like West from Wild Love, who's just like, if I could build a boyfriend for you, it would be my best friend.
Right.
I want brothers that are like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like my brother, he's younger than me, but he has gone through phases where he's like, I'll beat his ass. But at the same time, like he never said that about Eric. Like he and Eric are in love with each other. I said, Jesus Christ, stop infantilizing women so much. I beg. So, horniness rating for this one. The horniness rating is a 4 out of 10, even though we got a vibrator and the words depraved pussy early in the book. 3.5 stars, because even though I was pissed the fuck off, I still had a fun time reading the book. Okay?
That's good.
So that's that. That was Paisley Hope's Holding the Reins, book 1 of the Silver Pines Ranch series. I will obviously be continuing the rest of the books because I have them. And hopefully I grow to enjoy other characters more than I enjoyed these 2, because they were all right.
Yeah, I think I liked her more than him. He kind of got on my nerves with the stroke in his own
Yeah, he just
depraved ween.
His battering ram pee-pee.
Battering ram pee-pee.
Okay, so we will see you all again very soon. Follow us on the TikTok. We have 100 followers.
Yay.
And we're doing our giveaway.
Yes.
So by the time you see this, the giveaway will already be closed, and we will have announced the winner. Whoever you are, thank you so much for being a subscriber and a loyal listener.
Yes.
Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and see our faces in the YouTube, which is all linked down below. Mm-hmm. Also, if you've made it this far, check out our brother show called Definitely Not. I am the producer on that show, and we be having a great time.
It's so
over
funny.
there.
It is such a funny show.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Thank you. And that's all. We'll see you all very soon.
Bye.
Bye.